Yo, what's up everybody, it is Sharkhunter here, and today I'm going to be talking about some honestly pretty slanderous accusations that have been brought forth to me pretty recently, and that has been broadcasted in a server with over 2,000 members. These accusations came in the form of an announcement sent by one of Junie's admins and hearted by Junie herself. So I'm going to take that as her having absolutely no problems with the announcement and letting it into her server. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's go address the announcement. The announcement itself is filled to the brim with manipulation, lies, and half-truths, all to cover up the fact that it is driven by malice, and it is designed to make me look like the worst possible human, just to keep her server members from talking with me. But don't worry, we'll get into that very soon. For now, let's head on to the context section. Now, JuniDrawz is a 16-year-old animator who recently entered into the commentary animation genre and has gotten herself into some quite concerning situations on the internet. For example, being openly friends with a up until a couple of months ago, where she claimed that she was quote-unquote even though from what I've seen, none of the typical signs associated with grooming seem to be present. Or we can bring up her countless examples of her falsely accusing people of being in groups that they aren't, or just in general accusing people of being somebody they're not, with very weak and insufficient evidence to back up their claim, or actually no evidence whatsoever. This was honestly pretty concerning to me because she had a Discord server with over 2,000 members on it, mostly being minors. So being pretty concerned, I got a couple of people to monitor things. I also asked a couple of members within the server to keep an eye out as well. I mainly want to make sure there wasn't any predatory, malicious, or unruly behavior happening there, and if there was, that they would report back to me. Also, just as a note, throughout all of these conversations, I made it abundantly clear that my intentions were not malicious in any way, shape, or form, and I was doing this purely out of a place of concern. Now, I'm not gonna say who accepted the offer, but I am gonna say that quite a few of them did agree to monitor the server. But there also was a group of people that heard exactly what I had to say and then went straight to the moderators to report me. I then weighed the two options of dropping it all and continuing the investigation and decided which one was more worth it. I then came to the realization that continuing the investigation was far more valuable and necessary than a few members' feelings who could have easily just blocked me or not accepted my friend request at any time. And again, this is not a justification for what they would do later on. Speaking about that, after they realized that I wasn't stopping, they released this announcement right here, essentially trying their best to make sure members wouldn't talk to me by absolutely and utterly slandering my name as much as they possibly could. So let's go by these points one by one and debunk them individually. If any of you get a DM or a friend request from a suspicious looking account, an account with no mutual friends or servers, or from a user named Sharkhunter, do not accept it. This is for your safety. He leaked DMs between minors, is working with Junie's daughters, and is phobic. We don't know what he wants, but it would be for the best if you are not in contact with him at all. Do not give him any information. Do not humor him. Just simply block him. If you had any messages with this person, or anyone affiliated with him, or anyone who may be suspicious, immediately open a ticket in #tickets and report this conversation to our moderators. Please send screenshots as well. Then proceeds to send a screenshot from my Twitter account. To address the first thing, no, I did not leak any DMs between any minors. What this person is referring to is a situation that happened back in May of 2025. Where I made a video on an individual who does not want to be named. I criticized him for several things, one being some DMs he had with a certain individual. These DMs were blurred and I got them from somebody who made a video on this person. The funny thing is, and the thing they forgot to mention, is that this situation has been resolved for quite some time, approximately 6 months. Not even to mention that this video was up for an hour and got taken down before it could reach any significant amount of views. On top of that, I wasn't even the one who leaked the DMs, nor was I involved in it any way, shape, or form. And the DMs in that section in part were blurred. Of course, they don't mention the context, nor mention anything in relation to that because it would invalidate their entire claim of me being this bad, evil, horrible person. I'm already suspecting the person who did this being an incredibly disingenuous and dishonest liar. What they said there wasn't even a half-truth, it was just a blatant lie. I didn't leak anything and I wasn't involved in getting this information in any way, shape, or form. I simply got it from a video. This is yet another example of them trying to bring up every single thing they can against me and twist it to suit their narrative. The second thing they claimed is that I was quote-unquote working with Junie's daughters. What they're referring to is a situation that happened in May to June of 2025 where I briefly talked to a person named Avenger while trying to get information on a particular individual that doesn't want to be mentioned. But this was before I really even knew anything about him and all the messed up things he had done, and I even called him out in the follow-up video I made about this particular individual. To Avenger. Now let me make this clear, I'm not 100% with Avenger, neither do I 100% support him. I find his past to be extremely sketchy, and he has on multiple occasions forged messages. That's why throughout my entire conversation with him, I've always asked him for proof. What's also funny is that Avenger wasn't even involved in Junie's before the situation. That's like being associated with somebody who commits a crime in the future and then getting blamed for working with them at a certain time just because they did something they haven't done yet. Plus, when they say I am working with him, it implies that I still work with him and I'm working with him to get people on the server. Again, this is just a blatant lie. I don't work with these people. The most I'll ever do is get into a conversation with them and try to convince them to turn things around and abandon their harmful behavior. And one of the last claims we have is that they don't know what my intentions are. Oh really? So, all of the people that I texted, the ones where I clearly stated my exact intentions, the same people who sent you this message so you'd know what was going on, those are the messages you conveniently didn't see? I think I made my intentions pretty clear throughout all my interactions. So either the people who reported to them conveniently didn't show any of the messages they had with me, or they're just being incredibly dishonest and blatantly lying. I think it's the latter of the two options, but anyways. Also, as a final note, I want to say how incredibly weird it is that YouTubers similar to Junie, who have also pretty decent followings, seem to be supporting her unconditionally and almost never calling her out. A good example of this would be Bree Draws, who seems to act like a role model for Junie and Yummy. The reason I say this is because Junie and Yummy's content appear to be copied straight from Bree Draws' channel. Their names are similar, both ending with Draws, their VTuber models look alike, and even their commentary style follows the same pattern. What makes this even stranger is that Bree Draws has repeatedly ignored Junie's concerning and dishonest behavior, like falsely calling out somebody for being somebody who they're not, or just in general being incredibly irresponsible online. When the announcement slandering me was posted, Bree Draws was one of the first ones to like and heart it, even though she knew the context behind most of the allegations, because she was present during many of the live streams discussing the drama back in May of 2025. I genuinely don't understand why she didn't speak up or correct anything and instead continues supporting this misinformation. So, in conclusion, we have debunked all of the accusations made about me in this announcement, and we have proved, without a doubt, that this announcement was made out of malicious intent. Honestly, nothing really surprises me about this community anymore. Everything is run off of subjective morals and no one can agree on what is right or wrong. The rules constantly change and people can't even explain why something is wrong. They just always fall back to the argument that it's either against the law or I personally don't like it. It's all subjective preferences. But anyways, this will hopefully be my last video I make on any of these people. If you enjoyed the video or appreciated my perspective, feel free to support my channel by liking, subscribing, or joining my Discord server to connect with others and share similar views. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.